Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. MrAyrit here. Got a big beefy DAC amp review for you today. This is the Fiio K9 Pro. So this thing is an absolute beast, and I was kind of shocked at the quality of it, to be honest with you. So I guess the question really is does the sound match the build? So let's dig into it. Let's see what you get, and we will ultimately talk about sound and what kind of a value this thing sits at, for me anyway. So before we look at the unit itself, as usual, I like to show the box that it comes in. And this one is quite nice. Like, it's a really nice package. You know, very sturdy box, very nicely done, heavy duty cardboard. You know, it comes sitting in here really nicely. You've got a quick start guide. You know, you've got a little cardboard package over here. It comes with a USB. It comes with, you know, of course, the power cable and then the Bluetooth antenna. There is no remote as far as I know with this guy. This was loaned to me by a friend of the channel, so I assume he sent it with everything that it comes with, but I'm not 100% sure on that. One thing that I didn't realize that it came with, which I thought was kind of cool, is this little guy right here, which is just a stand, so you can stand it up vertically, and so you just set it in there. You know, you can see that on the unit, there's one of these sides has a couple of rubber feet on it, and then you can, you know, just place it like that to have a vertical setup, which I thought was pretty cool, and that's actually how I used it most of the time, just to save space on my bedside table, which is where I used it most of the time. So let's do a quick tour of the unit here, and we'll look at like I/O and all that, and build quality, and then we will talk about, you know, sound quality after that. The first thing you're gonna notice with this unit is just how hefty this thing is. I mean, it is super solid. It weighs probably like 10 pounds, honestly. Like, it weighs a good amount. Like, it is solid. It's a tank, okay? It's a tank. It feels really good. Metal feels good. Just super solid construction, okay? On the front here, you've got, you know, it includes this nice little cover for XLR, 1/4 inch, 4.4, balanced, and then I can just stick the cover back in there like that. Very nice. Volume knob is large. It is super smooth. Feels just great. Very fine control there. You can see it's got kind of like a chrome finish, and then around it is an LED, which, you know, I can cut to some B-roll of that here. Over on the other side here, we've got some buttons. We got power button, we've got input button, we've got gain. It's got 3 levels of gain, and then we've got output, which you can do DAC, pre, and headphone right there. And then you can see all the little lights up here. These are all your, you know, input selectors. So Bluetooth, line, coax, optical, USB. One complaint that I do have about this unit is just the writing is so faint on this that honestly I had a hard time reading it. Even in good light, it's kind of difficult to read, but certainly if you're listening like in a dim room like I have been, you know, around bedtime, almost impossible to read this thing. So if you're not super familiar with the unit, kind of difficult to tell, you know, what gain stage you have selected, what input you have selected, things like that. Obviously with time and once you get it set, like, that's going to be no big deal, but just as somebody that tries a lot of stuff, that was frustrating for me. All right, let's spin it around and look. Actually, there is a USB-C on the side here, so that is something to note. So you can run your, you know, your phone or something like that straight into it that way if you want to. On the back, you've got a lot of options here. You've got, of course, power cable in, Bluetooth, USB, optical, coax, 4.4 in, RCA in, RCA out, and then balanced in. So they chose, instead of doing 4, as opposed to choosing to do an XLR in, they went with the 4.4 in, I assume just to save some space on the back there. So that's what we got. So a lot of good input options there. It's just, gosh, again, I just can't overstate how good this thing feels. This is probably it's right up there with the best built amp I've used. I would say it's on par with the Bioelectric V280 for just build quality. Obviously they have some differences, but they're both really hefty, really well built devices. So Fiio, I mean, they knocked it out of the park with build quality, in my opinion. Okay, so lots of functionality, lots of input options, lots of output options, right? So this thing is a function beast. They're really going for here, right, an all-in-one solution that feels great to use. And I'd say for the most part they've done it, right? As far as just interface and use goes, this thing checks all the boxes. So how about the sound, right? Okay, so this thing has the AKM4499 chip in it for the DAC portion, and then it's got the THX AAA 788 Plus chip for the amplifier portion. And so what does that mean? It means you're getting clean sound, right? Now, whether you enjoy a super clean sound or not is going to be up for debate. So personally, I can tell you that I am leaning much more towards tubes these days, just with the headphones that I'm using and things like that. So I'm not like a super clean headphone amp DAC type of person. I like a little bit of flavor. I like a little bit of fun built into my stuff. And it's not that the K9 Pro here is not fun, but it definitely lacks like a defining flavor, I would say. And that might be, you know, what you're going for. That might be a really good thing for you. I would just say that like it's super clean, right? Sterile is maybe a bit harsh or hyperbole when we're talking about this thing, because largely it's quite smooth and easy to listen to. It does lack some of the character and nuance that you might get with a higher end DAC like my Soker's 2541 or like the Bioelectric V280. That thing takes it up. That thing just has such a quality to it as far as maintaining a very clean sound, but also making it fun and enjoyable and giving you kind of all the nuances and textures. This guy right here, it's just clean, and that's really all that it comes down to it. Ultimately, I feel like I enjoy something like the Bioelectric V280 with the Soker's a little bit more, but you're talking a $1,000 amp and a $1,000 DAC, whereas this guy right here, specifically this model, the AKM model, APOS has certified on their site right now for like $630, which is a pretty phenomenal bargain, I think, for what you're getting if you're looking for just like a simple all-in-one solution. I don't think you can really go wrong here as long as you're going for that super clean sound and you want all this functionality and you want an all-in-one. Comparing it to other THX based things, I was able to pick up just super cheap a while back an SP200, which I did a review or a comparison with that like a while back. But I was going back and forth both out of the Soker's, listening to the SP200 and the K9 Pro, and I do feel like the K9 Pro is like a little bit more refined. I feel like it's a little bit smoother. I feel like it does space a little bit better than something like the SP200 and probably something like the 789 as well. So I would say that this is probably one of the best, if not the best iteration of THX I've heard, just because it's easier to listen to. It doesn't have that extreme like sharpness and over sharpening or over clarity that some of those THX things can get, especially when paired with a chip-based DAC. I don't feel like the K9 Pro falls into that, trap with the THX stuff. So I guess what I'm saying is, and not to beat a dead horse here, and not to make this review too long, again, if you're looking for super clean, THX based, plenty of power, plenty of options, inputs, outputs, things like that, I would give this thing a strong look. I think it's a strong competitor. Ultimately, for me, I listen to those super clean solid states little enough that I'm just gonna keep the SP200, I think. But I do again feel like this is a good viable option, especially if you want the option to throw like Bluetooth in something. I just think it's a great all-in-one box, and if you can pick one up for around $600, I think you're doing pretty good value-wise too on this guy. So thanks to Stegs for sending this out for a review. I appreciate that. Thank you to you guys for watching. I appreciate that. As always, you know, if you found this useful, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Feel free to drop alternative opinions in the comments, you know, or just your experience with the K9 Pro, or even the new K9 like ESS based version, because again, this is the AKM. I'll drop an affiliate link down below to the APOS certified one in case you want to go check that out, because again, I think that's a pretty phenomenal deal. And with that being said, I think that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned right to the channel. I've got more, you know, reviews coming up here in the near future, and also I will be coming up with some new ways for you to support the channel if you're interested in doing that very soon here. So thanks a bunch. I will hopefully see you in the next one.